So today I'm coming to you with my most anticipated releases for the rest of the year. I've actually never made a video about my anticipated releases before. I had one filmed for the summer and then I just didn't get around to editing it, and then it was like August and I was like, there's literally no point to this. All these books are already out. I'm trying to get this one up at a sensible time. But some of these books I know are already out because I already have them sitting here with me. So I apologize about that. These are the books that I'm looking forward to. But if you've seen my summer book haul, then you'll know that I'm actually going on a book buying ban. So I'm not actually going to be able to get any of these books. But I think it's still interesting to talk about the books that I'm looking forward to. And this is something I can look back on once my ban is over, and then I can stock up on all these books that I've missed and then be super broke. Because there are a lot of books coming out. I think it's about time that we get into talking about my most anticipated releases instead of me rambling. I will obviously leave Goodreads links to everything down below so that you can go and find a better synopsis, because I'm not the best at synopsizing things. So the first book that I'm anticipating this fall is Tower of Dawn by Sarah J Maas. As you can see, this book already came out. This book came out on September 5th. I had it on pre-order because it's Sarah J Maas. I had to pre-order it. I'm actually a bit apprehensive of this book because it's all about kale, and also it's over 600 pages, and I'm just not sure when I'm going to be able to get to that because of going to university and everything. I do think I'll bring this one with me, but I'm not sure I'll be able to get to it before I come home for Christmas. I just know that like when I'm at university, I'm not going to be able to devote that much time to reading. I was still really looking forward to this one because even though I don't feel like it's going to be a necessary book, I still love the Throne of Glass world and I love Sarah J Maas's books. The next book that I have on my list also came out on September 5th, and that was Genuine Fraud by E. Lockhart. I actually haven't read any other books by E. Lockhart apart from We Were Liars, but I really loved We Were Liars. So when I heard that she was coming out with a new book this year, I was like, I want to read that, because even though I don't know what it's about and I can't tell you what it's about because I don't know, I'm still looking forward to it. I really loved the writing style that she had, and I just feel like this one's going to be really interesting. Even though I have no idea what it's about, the cover intrigues me. I'm looking forward to this one. The next book also came out on September 5th, and that is The Dreadful Tale of Prosper Redding by Alexandra Bracken. I do actually know what this book is about. This book is about a boy called Prosper Redding, and it's a middle grade book, so he's quite young. I think he's like 12 or something, and basically his grandfather did something really bad back in the day and he upset a demon, and now this demon is living inside of Prosper. And apparently this book is just super funny but also really dark, but obviously it's a middle grade, so it's not gonna be like super dark and gritty. And I'm really excited for this book because I've only read one book by Alexandra Bracken, and that was Passenger. I wasn't the biggest fan. I think I gave that book 2.5 or 3 stars, something like that. It wasn't my favorite book in the whole world, and that was partially because the book was quite slow, but I've heard that this book gets straight into the action, so I'm quite excited to read this book just because I think it's gonna be a bit of a change, and I really want to love her books because I follow her on Instagram and stuff, and I want to see her Instagram stories, and she seems like one of the nicest human beings out there, and I really want to love her books, but so far I haven't loved them. I still need to read The Darkest Minds. I know I'm terrible. I will get to it eventually, so I'm really excited to read The Dreadful Tale of Prosper Redding. The next book that I have to show you also has already come out, and this book came out on the 5th of September in America, but it actually didn't come out until the 7th of September in the UK, and that is They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. I cannot wait to read this book. I know I own it now, so I should read it now. I want to wait like a few days because I have other books that I need to finish first, so I feel like I should just do those because I feel like this book is just really gonna draw me in, and I'm not gonna want to read anything else because I love his books so much. But if you don't know what this book's about, this book follows two guys called Mateo and Rufus, and they live in this world where it's kind of our world but in the future. They have technology that can predict when people are gonna die, and so on the day that you're gonna die you get like a text message saying you're gonna die today, and it doesn't tell you how you're gonna die or like what time of day, just that you're gonna die on that day. So Rufus and Mateo meet using this app called the Last Friend app, which is basically where you can find someone else who's also gonna die today and you can like hang out and try and do all the things that you wanted to do, like tick off your bucket list before you die. And I feel like this book is gonna be so heartbreaking, but I've heard that it's like actually really good and like not too sad. Obviously it's sad, but I've heard that it's kind of uplifting a bit as well because it's all about like living your life to the fullest because these characters are gonna die on that day. I'm really excited to read it, but also I'm like, it's gonna break me. The next book that I'm really anticipating is Invictus by Ryan Groden. I actually could not tell you the plot of this book, even though I have a review copy because I've forgotten what it's about. But I do actually have a review copy of this that I got via netgalley.com in exchange for an honest review. So you will be getting a review from me. As I said, I'm not sure what Invictus is about, but I saw a lot of people talking about this at BEA, and I've heard great things about Ryan Groden's other book, which is Wolf by Wolf. So I thought this book would be really interesting, and I know it's like a sci-fi time travel kind of book, I think. So I'm really excited to read it. Oh my god. The next book that I have to talk about is Before the Devil Breaks You by Libba Bray. This is the third book in the Diviners series. I'm going to be getting it on Audible because I'm not counting audiobooks in my book buying ban. The audiobooks for the Diviners series are just amazing and I'm super excited to read this. If you don't know what the Diviners is about, the Diviners is set in the 1920s in New York. The first book follows this girl Evie predominantly, and she has this power where she can pick something up and tell you what happened to the person who owns that object whilst they had that object with them. All of a sudden this serial killer starts killing lots of people in New York and it's just so great. It's kind of creepy. A lot of people describe it as a horror book. I wouldn't say it's a horror, more of just like a thriller, and it's like spooky but not scary. Like I wouldn't read it if it was really scary because I'm a wimp, and 100% I would recommend the audiobooks. They are fantastic. The next book that I have on my list is There's Someone Inside Your House by Stephanie Perkins. This one comes out on the 5th of October and I actually already have a review copy of this, which I'm super excited about. I have been looking forward to this book since it got announced like years ago after I read Anna and the French Kiss because I just loved her writing so much. Like I knew this was gonna be like a horror book, but still I was like, I just want to read it so much. I've heard it's more thrilling than horror as well, which is great because I'm a wimp, as I said. I actually started reading this and found it really engaging, but I had to put it down because like I didn't want to freak myself out. But I will be picking it up again really soon because, as I said, I got a review copy. If you know what this book is about about this girl whose name I've forgotten. Basically, she moves from Hawaii to this place somewhere else in America, and all of a sudden all these murders start happening and they're really gruesome. I don't really know that much about it, but I'm super excited. The next book I have on my list is Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. Obviously this book is on this list. This comes out on the 10th of October. I really loved The Fault in Our Stars back in the day. I haven't read it in about 3 years, but when I last read it, I loved it so much. I loved the movie. It was so important to me, and especially with me getting back into reading. John Green, I love his book. I find I have a love-hate relationship with his books because his characters are too mature to be teenagers. Like they don't sound like teenagers, but I still love his books and I will just read everything he writes because I have to. I don't know what this book is about. I've forgotten, but I know it's John Green, so I'm gonna read it. So the next book I want to talk about comes out on the 13th of October, and that is Mask of Shadows by Lindsay Miller. The description of this book really sounded like Throne of Glass, except the main character is gender fluid, and this book follows the main character Sal. Something happened in their past. I think their parents were killed or something like that. Isn't that always the case? And they really want to join this thing called the Queen's Right Hand or something like that, and they become the Queen's personal assassin by doing that. And so Sal wants to join the Right Hand. They want to infiltrate the higher class people and kind of fuck shit up, I think. That's what I gathered from the synopsis. But I'm really excited to read this. This book actually came out in August in America, but it doesn't come out until October in the UK. So if you've already read it, let me know. I have heard some mixed reviews. I don't know. It sounds like Throne of Glass, but more diverse. The next book comes out on the 7th of November, and that is Secrets for the Mad by Dodie Clark. Dodie is of course a YouTuber, in case you didn't know that, but she deals with depression and anxiety. But this is just a collection of essays that she's written, and I actually already had an early copy that I got from NetGalley, and I'm really excited to read it. I have often found that these memoirs can be really inspirational and just really nice to read.
Hello, it's me from editing, because basically I was editing this video and my camera does the thing where it will only record for 19 minutes and then it shuts off. So my camera shut off when I was in the middle of talking about the next book, and I didn't realize until I came into editing. But I was watching this back and I was like, missed out a book. The next book on my list is Renegades by Marissa Meyer. I actually have no idea what this book is about, but it's a Marissa Meyer book. But I remember reading the synopsis and thinking that sounded really interesting, and then obviously it's gone out of my head. I will say that Marissa Meyer is not my favorite author in the world. Like, I have enjoyed the Lunar Chronicles series. I haven't actually finished it yet, and I do have Heartless, which I'm planning on reading when I'm in uni. I do enjoy her books. I think they're just a lot of fun to read, so I'm sure that this next book will be a lot of fun.
The final book on my list comes out on the 14th of November. I already have an early copy, and I'm so excited, and that is Artemis by Andy Weir, the author of The Martian. If you don't know, I read The Martian earlier this year and I loved it a lot. When I saw that it was available for request on NetGalley, obviously I put in a request. My request was approved. I have an early copy. I'm gonna read it really soon, and this is great because, as I said, I'm going on a book buying ban, so otherwise I wouldn't be able to read it until Christmas time because hopefully someone will buy it for me for Christmas. I have an early copy. I'm so excited. I don't know what this one's about. Classic theme. All I know is that this one is set on the moon and it follows a female character this time, and I think she's like a thief or something like that. I'm not entirely sure, but I saw Andy Weir and I was like, must read it. I need it. So obviously I requested it. That is all for today's video. I'm really sorry that I didn't know the synopsis to half these books. That's just how I roll. Anyway, that's going to all for today's video. So I hope you liked it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, feel free to subscribe down below. Please let me know what books you are anticipating for the rest of the year. If you want to be notified whenever I post a new video, feel free to go and click that bell icon and you'll get a notification every time I post. You can turn them off, don't worry. It's not like a lifetime commitment if you then decide, oh, I actually don't care. Anyway, that's going to all. So I'll see you very soon with another video. Bye!